Good afternoon and welcome to How to Grow Your Business with Google for Free. I'm Heather McGee, Director of Marketing for Artonic, a digital marketing and website design company in Tecumseh. In addition to websites and marketing, we also offer branding, custom web applications, and we do photography and videography, including drone capabilities. Today we will discuss what is a Google Business Profile, why it's important for your business, how to set up the profile. I will provide an overview of how Google determines rank, which will define where your business falls on the page and when a user executes a Google search related to your business. I will also provide tips and tricks of how to manage your reviews, and I've saved a couple minutes at the end for some bonus material. I'd be happy to address any of your questions or concerns at the end of the presentation, and I will email you a copy of the presentation if you've provided me with your email. So you don't have to worry about taking too many notes. So let's jump right in. What is a Google Business Profile? It's an easy-to-use tool for businesses to manage their online presence in Google, including Google Search and Google Maps. So why is a Google Profile important for your business? First, it will define your online visibility through Google, and it helps you to grow your sales. Google is the #1 search engine, and Google Maps boasts over 1 billion users. With a Google Profile, you will be able to show up in local searches as well as on Google Maps, with the goal of being in the top 3 in the Google Maps, also known as the local 3-pack or snack pack, which I'll refer to quite frequently throughout the presentation. So why does this matter? Here's a few statistics. The top 3 Google Maps listings rank in the #1 position in 93% of all Google searches. Further, 76% of people who conduct a local search contact a business within 48 hours, and 28% of those searches results in a purchase. Google also helps to build credibility and online trust through Google reviews. Google is the most popular platform for leaving reviews, which is extremely important because 85% of shoppers trust reviews as much as a personal recommendation. Google also offers some easy-to-understand insights, which can help you with your other marketing efforts. Also, did I mention it's free marketing? Literally no catches. How many of you have a business profile already? Okay, great. For those of you who have one already, I'll show you how to optimize your account. If you haven't, here's what it looks like. On the left-hand side, you can see what you would see from a profile manager perspective. It may look a little daunting, but it's actually extremely easy to complete and manage. On the right-hand side is what users will experience. They'll see your company card on the right-hand panel of the web page, and they can also see the Google map. Here are some tips for setting up your profile. The first step is to claim or set up your profile from scratch. This can be the most challenging part of the process and time-consuming, but it's worth it, and the rest is super easy to complete. You'll want to make sure that you're completing your profile in full and keeping it up to date. The more information you provide, the more Google likes it. You will have to decide if you are a storefront or a service area. How many of you have a physical brick and mortar location where people come to visit you? A couple people? Okay, you're going to be known as a storefront. If you travel out to your customers' locations, you have a service area. If you have some type of hybrid business, you will want to consider yourself a storefront for setup purposes. You will also need to select your primary category, and you will have the opportunity to select several different subcategories. You must define your business name, address, and phone number. I'm going to introduce a concept called NAP consistency, which stands for name, address, and phone number. All 3 elements must be exactly the same across the internet, on your web page, on your profile, in your directory listings, everywhere. I would suggest you type it out and copy and paste it where possible to avoid mistakes or errors in punctuation, capitalization, abbreviations, spellings, etc. It needs to be exactly the same. It is ideal if you use a local phone number rather than an 800 number when possible to avoid issues with aggregator listings. You must also use a real physical location or your service area. P.O. boxes aren't allowed. Make sure to note your business hours by day and take the time to notate when you have holiday hours or other special events. You don't want customers to call you or show up when you're not there. You're going to miss an opportunity for a sale, and you could even make them mad. You will want to include your website. All businesses need websites. You can have a company like Artonic help you build the website, or you can build one yourself. If you don't have a website, you can build a very simple one-page website for free with Google. The only cost would be $12 per year if you want a custom URL. It is also suggested in most cases that you maintain and set up at least one social platform. And you can notate that on your profile as well. If you have questions about which platform makes sense for your business, I'd be happy to answer those questions. If the profile you have an opportunity to highlight your products and services. This can be extremely impactful for companies who sell products and things like vehicles. You can create a product carousel, which will also show up on your profile. The business description is also extremely important. You will want to write it for your audience using common language. However, you will want to make sure that you're including your location and keywords in the description. A keyword is a word or a phrase that people use to look up your company. Make sure not to keyword stuff the description. You don't want to just put a bunch of random words in there. Photos and videos are also very important for building your credibility. They can be submitted by you as the owner, your customers, or by any other stakeholders. You may not have a lot of images to begin with for your profile, but the goal should be to consistently add images and ultimately to have 100 or more. Make sure to note your business opening date, which can be vastly different from when you set up your Google profile. I'll show you in a minute why that's important. Once you've completed your profile, the last important step is to verify it. If you don't verify it, you can't manage it. And lastly, as a bonus, once you have your Google profile set up, you can easily set up a Bing Places profile and sync the two together. Bing is another large search engine, and it's worth the extra step. So how does Google determine rank? In other words, how does it determine which companies to show first when someone executes a search? There are three main ways. The first way is relevance. How relevant is your profile to what the user is asking for? Google will look at your profile description, including those important keywords. It will also look at your primary category, and it will be validating your name, address, and phone number against the website and other sources. Second, it will be looking at distance. This can be the user's physical distance, or it can be the requested location. For example, we're here in Adrian. I can type in banks, and it's going to assume that I meant banks near me, and it's going to show me the closest banks to us. However, I could also do a search from this location in Adrian for Chinese restaurants in Ann Arbor, and it's going to show me the closest Chinese restaurants to Ann Arbor. Lastly, Google is going to look at your prominence. It's going to try to get an idea of what that looks like. This is a gray area, and Google will look at your reviews. They want to see a quantity of quality reviews, meaning higher reviews, people leaving feedback, and they want them to be regular. They don't just want a chunk at the beginning when you set up your profile and that's it. Consistency is very important. They will also be looking for your profile photos, videos, name, address, phone number consistency again, and regular posts. You should be posting to your profile at least once per week. These can be updates, events, or promotions. If you do put in a promotion, that promotion will appear on your profile when people search for your name. It will also appear on Google Maps. Now I'm going to show you 3 examples of why your profile is important, as well as some options for you to consider to determine what is best for your company. I'm going to pop out of the presentation really quick here, and I'm going to show you a video. So I did a search for realtor in Adrian, Michigan. It might be hard for you to see here. But the first section that shows up here at the front is called the local search ads. These are paid ads, and they require you having a Google profile first. This is applicable for certain professions. Next, you will see the Google Snack Pack that I talked about. These are built off of the company's profiles, and we'll include the map. Finally, we're going to get down the page and we're going to get to the normal organic rankings and websites. In our second example here, for basement waterproofing, it is assuming that I meant near me. So what happens first is we're going to see, again, those local search ads. And you'll also notice, I don't know if you can see or not, but it also says Google Guaranteed on each one of those. That is a certification process that you can pay for certain types of companies. And there is an annual fee for that because Google is going to compensate someone if they don't like your service. You can also be Google Screened, which is a free service. It's something similar, just not as onerous of a process, and it will still help you to show out because it will signal that on your profile. Next here, you're going to see Google Ads. These are the normal Google Ads, not the ones that we've been talking about. Then we're going to see finally that Google Snack Pack coming up here with the top 3 selections from Google for the area. Again, listing your times. It's also showing, well, I wanted to show you that on that profile you also see the number of years in business. It's kind of rounded off to a generic number, but that's why it matters. So after we saw that local snack pack, now we're getting into some frequently asked questions, some videos, a whole bunch of stuff. These are YouTube videos. Then we come down and we've got some shopping product ads. And then we come down and we finally have some organic listings. This is why your Google profile is so important, because it pops up at the top. The next item I'm going to show you is pole barn kits. Again, it's going to assume near me. This one starts out with some shopping ads at the very top. Second in the list here is that Google Snack Pack. We got a couple organic listings, followed some frequently asked questions, a couple of more organic listings, some images, and some more organic listings, and that's it for this particular page 1. So as you can see, it's extremely important for your Google profile to be updated and maintained. It will help you stand out in today's competitive marketplace. So reviews, how do you get them? Well, like in most things in life, you have to ask for them. When is a good time to ask for them? When you have completed a successful job and your customer is elated. You can also send them an email or a text follow-up. There's even tools that can help you to do that more easily that you can pay for separately. You can also attach it at the bottom of your bill. Please leave us a review here. The only problem with that is the person who pays the bill is not necessarily the person that experienced your service or product. It's important to show them how to leave a review. Specifically, tell them where you want them to leave a review. Is it in Google? Is it on Yelp? Angie's List? Facebook? Where do you want them to leave the review? And put it in the order that you prefer. It is good to give them options, as not everyone is comfortable with every application. And don't be afraid to remind them about the Google review. They may have just simply forgotten. A few do's and don'ts. Do encourage your customers to leave you a review. Act upon all reviews, positive or negative. Reviewers will not necessarily see your response unless they go into your profile and look for it. However, if someone leaves you a negative review, there's a high probability that they are looking for a response from you. So it's important to acknowledge them in writing in the review and try to connect with the user if possible. But don't be upset if you can't resolve their issue or connect with them. This is your chance to turn a frown upside down by delighting the customer and addressing their concerns. You can even have them edit the review or delete it if they change their mind. Lastly, it's a good practice to designate a review manager to make sure that things don't get missed. Here are some really important don'ts. Don't ever fake or buy reviews. You will be penalized. Don't ever ask a customer to leave you a review at your location because they won't count and you can be penalized. This includes anywhere possible that they could be on your Wi-Fi, so make sure they're outside of that Wi-Fi range. And lastly, do not panic or stress about one bad or mediocre review. it's all about the law of averages. Those bad reviews can be buried once you get new ones, so really focus on getting those new reviews, and the handful of negative ones will kind of wash out. Lastly, some bonus material. I mentioned that those local service ads for certain professions are showing up at the top of the page. If you're in any of these professions, it's extremely competitive and is also allowed with local service ads. So I would strongly suggest considering this for your business. There are more industries there, but these are the top ones. You may also want to consider being Google guaranteed or Google screened as well. So in summary, you want to claim or create your Google profile, populate that profile, do the important step of verifying it, optimize and maintain that profile, build and manage your reviews, and consider adding that paid advertising or becoming Google guaranteed or Google screened if allowed by Google. And finally, let's follow Walt Disney's great quote here and quit talking and just start doing. So I'd like to thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the expo.